In this video I'll show you how to create the cutting list for the scooter. Let's begin with looking at the scooter deck. So we've got this bar here, number 3, which runs kind of the length of the scooter, about 558 mil. It's square tubing and it's 25 millimeters thick. So up in here I'm going to put in part number, let's start with number 3 I guess. Part name, let's call this the deck rail. The number required to make this is 2, and the material would be mild steel. And the profile will be 25 by 25. Mine's 2 millimeter thick, square hollow section tubing. Okay, the length of this would be 558 millimeters. So its total in millimeters required would be equal to 558. So I'll put that in meters. Meters times 2, which is equal to, let's pull up the calculator. So we get 558 divided by 2. 558 times 2 is 1.116 meters. Okay. Now let's look at the next component, part number 2. So part number 2 in this is actually the curved end. 2 curved end. One's required is made of mild steel. This is also 25 by 25 by 2 SHS or square tubing. The length of this one is a bit tricky. This one we have a curve or radius of 63 millimeters. So it's going to be the circumference of a circle divided by 2. So let's get our calculator. So we have 63 is the radius times 2, that's the diameter, times 3.14, just pi. Divide that by 2, so we need 197 millimeters, so 0.197 meters. Okay, so let's put this in here, 0.197 meters. Okay, the next component, let's look at part number 4, which is this little component here. So part number 4, we'll call this the deck. In timber we might call this stiles, so I'll just call this a stile. 2 is required, mild steel, 25 by 25 by 2 SHS. The length of this is 80 mil, so 0.080 meters. So times 2 is 0.16 meters. Right, part number 5 is this angled component. So we'll call that one the angled bar. We need 1. It's also made from mild steel, and this stuff is 50 millimeters by 25 by 2 rectangular tubing. So it's rectangular, not square. The length of that is 300 millimeters. So that's going to be 0.3 meters, and its total length would be 0.3 meters because we need 1. And for the notes, we're going to put in cut ends at 45 degrees on cold saw. Okay, now we're up to part number 6, and on my particular scooter, it's actually the deck top. So there's actually a little plate, a thin plate of material on top. So deck top. 1 is required. Okay, so this is going to be made from plate, aluminium, 2 millimeter plate. So this one doesn't really have a length, but it does have kind of an area. So the area required for this one, you'd be cut out a square sheet. So I'm going to go with 650 for the length and a width of 80 plus 50. That's the whole width, so that's going to be 130. So here we have 0.65 meters times 0.13 meters. So the total area would be 0.65 times 0.13. So we're going to have 0.0845 meters squared. And my notes would be cut out slots and profile using, we might use the jigsaw. File, smooth. Okay, up to part number 7. If this one has a 7, my particular design doesn't have a 7, we'll just move on to 8. So number 7 in my design, it's not on there, but let's have a look at this particular. So if I made this the fork, this would actually be 3 pieces. So I'm going to make the top of the fork here, this component, this part that's going sideways. Let's see, so fork, horizontal bar, and I need 1, and this would also be mild steel at 25 by 25 by 2 SHS. The length of this bar is 115 mil, so 0.115 meters and 0.15 meters. Okay, number 8 would be the vertical, fork vertical bars. 2 is required. Its length here would be 165, but I'm going to take 25 because this bar is going to come in first. So that's going to be 140 mil. It's also made of mild steel, 25 by 25 by 2 SHS, and that's going to be 0.14 meters. And there's 2 of them, so it's going to be 0.28 meters. Okay, number 9. So look back on the design. 9 is actually the handlebar component for my work. So I'm going to go, let's go to the vertical handle bar. So this vertical piece is, I need 1, and it's, let's see, 500 millimeters in length, made also of mild steel. This stuff is going to be 20 by 2 CHS. That means 20 millimeter diameter, 2 mil thick, circular section tubing, and the length is 0.5 meters. And I'm going to put a note, file top end concave to fit horizontal bar. So I want to file the top of the bar so that it fits nicely into this area here. So let's see, part number 10. We're going to go the horizontal bar, handlebar. I need 1. It's also made of mild steel, same material, and this time the length here is 450. Okay, so weld to, let's see, my note would be weld to vertical bar. After, it's really important that I'd weld this bar on top of this bar only after I've built the scooter. After scooter built. Okay. Let's see if I got everything. Okay, now I'm missing a piece. So number 10 is actually this tube here that's attached to the angle bar. This would usually contain the bearings. So I'm going to call that one my bearing tube. I need a new number actually. I've changed that one to 11, but let's go. The bearing tube. One of those. That's also mild steel. And this profile is going to be 25 by 2 circular hollow section tubing, the 90 mil length. It's actually 0.09. Okay. So there we go. We've got pretty much this thing here. Any other materials required? I'm going to need 2X wheels. I'm going to need some wheels. I need 2 of them. And specifications, I believe these wheels are 120 millimeters diameter, but I will check those. I think we bought some Bunnings. Okay, I'm going to need some axles. I'm going to need 2 of those, and they're 12 millimeter bolts. And the length of those would be about 60 mil diameter, 60 mil width plus 50. It's about 120 millimeter length. Also from Bunnings, I'm going to need some, let's see, what else might I need for this? I need some grips, so I need 2 of those. Another 20 millimeter inner diameter. So let's have a look at this whole form. Okay, I've got an extra line here, so I'm just going to delete this out. Delete row. Okay, so This here would be all the parts required to cut this scooter, as you can see in the picture.